it's a beautiful thing, man. And you know, it's something I know I'll cherish forever. Is those moments coming out of the tunnel or just making a big play for him late in the game. And that's why we love Arrowhead, man. Honestly, I've been just focused on trying to win football games, man. I'll let that be a decision that I make with my family, friends, the Chiefs organization when the time comes.
Time for a quick take. An emotional Travis Kelce was reflective after what could have been his final home game of his career. RC, do you think Kelce hangs it up?
You know, I don't know. I think you make this decision when you step away from the game and get an opportunity to truly get a full perspective on what you've accomplished and where you are now. But if it is Travis Kelce's last game, he's an absolute legend, a first ballot Hall of Famer, and someone who approached football in the right way. He not only brought joy in the way that he played, but his effort, his leadership, and the sort of brother that he was absolutely amazing. And you saw that in everybody that spoke to him, whether it was a Kansas City Chiefs teammate or someone from the opposing team. But I also want you to keep this in perspective. Colston Loveland, who was a top 10 pick, Tyler Warren, who was a first-round pick, they don't have Travis Kelce's stats. Kyle Pitts, who the Atlanta Falcons social media team can't stop raving about, has the same number of touchdowns, only 7 more catches, and a few more yards. Travis Kelce can still do it. So if he steps away, it's not because he can't do it anymore. Maybe it's just because he doesn't want to. Travis, if you do step away, man, thank you for all you've done for us.
So, RC, America wants to know, should he play next week?
Got the Raiders.
Yes.
You can't say that. You can say anything. You can't say he should play next week.
It's easy to say he can play next week.
He can't. You can't say.
Can I tell you why? Because if Travis Kelce is going to step away, his team won't need him next year. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys are one. They still going to be a couple next year.
Got you there,
and they
Mike.
certainly need each other.
Oh, what happens if he comes back next year?
That's a different conversation.
Well, but it may not
Left
be.
it on the table. He did not give a definitive answer.
Mike,
yet.
you just contradicted
Mike,
yourself.
He just wants to bring this back to last
Here.
segment.
We're about the wrong things here. If Patrick Mahomes was playing, he shouldn't play. Tell you that.
All right, let's get into this Week 17 slate. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles take on the Bills in Buffalo. The Birds have won 2 straight and seem to be reestablishing their offensive identity as of late, but a game against a perennial postseason contender will be a true test of how fixed things really are for Jalen Hurts and the O. Meanwhile, Josh Allen and the Bills look to get their 5th straight win and dust off struggles with their tight game that they played against the Browns last week. Allen has played in more playoff games in his career than Hurts, but has just 1 more win. Hurts also has a Super Bowl title and Super Bowl MVP on his playoff resume, while Allen is still trying to make it to the Super Bowl for the first time in his career. The aforementioned Mike Tannnenbaum, RC, Kevin Clark back here for this one. Casey, Which quarterback do you trust more in the playoffs? Is it Hurts or is it Allen?
It's Josh Allen. And if you had at the beginning of the playoffs a redraft, every playoff team said, hey, we're going to redraft quarterbacks. Josh Allen's going 1-1 in every single scenario to every single GM and coach, okay? They're saying, I want Josh Allen. He has a better completion percentage, more yards and passer rating than he did last year when he won the MVP. This is with a diminished skill position group. Keon Coleman is a healthy scratch now. He can't play. We know the limitations. There's never been a playoff game where I've said Josh Allen should have done more, okay? The reasons he's failed in the playoffs is out of his control. I think we're going to see another great run from them this year. I'm picking Allen over Hurts if I had to redraft.
Yeah, I am too. And what's really cool, and we can say this about Jalen Hurts too, but when you're in the draft room, you talk a lot about the tape sets the floor and the character sets the ceiling. His rookie year, Josh Allen completed 52.8% of his passes. This year, it's 69%. You don't see that type of improvement. Ironically, Jalen Hurts has a similar one very often without being talented and an incredible work ethic. I think what's letting down the Bills right now is the skilled players on the perimeter.
Josh Allen ain't never beat Patrick Mahomes. Now, if you're going to tell me that you're going to take Josh Allen because compared to the quarterbacks that are going to be in the AFC, there's no one that you trust more than Josh Allen, I absolutely agree with that. But what Jalen Hurts has shown us in the playoffs is if Saquon Barkley and the run game aren't working, I can go be the Super Bowl MVP. That with Patrick Mahomes standing on the other side of the field on 2 separate occasions, I can outplay him. And I get it when you watch Jalen Hurts this season and you look at the inability of this offense to produce in the pass game. Sometimes you say to yourself, okay, I can't be confident in that. I can be confident in who Jalen Hurts has been in every opportunity that's presented him to win football games in the playoffs. And so from what I've seen from him, his ability to step up in the biggest moments, when the lights are the brightest, I love everything that Jalen Hurts has done for the Philadelphia Eagles in winning time. And I think that's the difference for me in taking Jalen Hurts.
For the two of you, how much of the reason you're picking Josh Allen is because of the path that he'll have to go through in the AFC? We know it's as wide open as it's ever been. Is that factoring into your decision?
No, I'm just thinking about, again, the hypothetical of every GM gets to draft a quarterback for the playoffs. Josh Allen is going first. And I think if Howie Roseman was able to take Josh Allen and put him on the Eagles right now, he's doing it. I think that's a lever he's pulling in that scenario in this hypothetical. So that's why I'm going with Josh Allen. I think that you mentioned he hasn't beaten Patrick Mahomes. He's a Tyler Bass away, 13 seconds away. That was out of his control. Josh Allen has been unbelievable in some of these playoff games, and it's been out of control that he's lost.
And Courtney, for me, I think the way they've evolved, not only him, but this Buffalo offense, they're a rush-first team. And what I like about that is every defensive coordinator is going to be sitting there saying, hey, I'm going to take away your strength. If we lose, they're going to have to beat us left-handed. What Josh Allen's shown this year is they can win games being left-handed, and that's why I think they really have a puncher's chance this year.
Yeah, I think the question about Josh Allen and who takes Josh Allen or picks Josh Allen, I agree with you in many of those things. The difference between what Josh Allen has done and what Jalen Hurts has done is no one has come in to Philadelphia and said to themselves, okay, we can leave with a win. We've seen Joe Burrow do that. We've seen Patrick Mahomes do that. And I think in Jalen Hurts' case, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles under Howie Roseman and the way that he's built teams around him, he's found ways that in the moments that he needed to step up and be even certain things he wasn't during the regular season, he's had the ability to do that. But if you ask me and you say, hey, Ryan, you got to take Josh Allen, I feel pretty damn good. Anytime I'm walking onto the football field with what he's been able to do and his evolution as a quarterback.
I mean, it's crazy about the offensive line injuries that team has overcome. I mean, you mentioned the run game, #1 rushing attack in the NFL this year with James Cook's season. And yet we are still talking about them potentially winning the AFC East, which was long thought to be the Patriots until the Buffalo Bills went on this win streak. And now they're looking for 5 straight. So let's pick this game, Kevin. Who are you going with on Sunday?
I'm going with the Eagles. And it's pretty obvious why. It's not about the quarterbacks to me. It's about a Bills team that cannot stop the run. They'd be giving up 5 yards per carry if Mike T were playing against them at running back. Are you available? Should Mike Tannnenbaum play this weekend? We're talking about Dak.
I'm going to be in Miami this week.
There you go. Okay.
I got the Tampa Bay.
Otherwise, you could pick up 5 yards per carry against this Bills defense. Saquon Barkley is catching fire. He has season highs in yards after contact the last 3 weeks. He's going to have a special run the next couple of weeks. It starts here. The Bills lose because they can't stop the run.
RC, who you got?
Yeah, and that's the same thing for me. Saquon Barkley has really started to get going. When you watch this Bills defense play against the run, they struggle. And so what's going to be the answer to that? Are you going to try to add people to the box? Are you going to try to get some run blitzes, and now you leave your corners who some are inexperienced, like a Maxwell Harrison, some have underperformed in that secondary as well. You leave those guys one-on-one with the A.J. Browns and the Devontae Smiths. You're susceptible now to the play-action pass, which is more deadly because of the success that Saquon Barkley has been having.
Yeah, I like Buffalo, and I agree with everything you said, but this is to me like a 38-35 game. The way Buffalo beat New England, Corey, a game that I'm sure you're at, the Bear game against Philadelphia where they just ran the ball at will. I think that's the vulnerability Philadelphia has, and I think Buffalo's run game
is excellent.
But this is a little bit of who has the ball last sort of feeling to it.
Sure.
I think both teams' strengths and weaknesses match up.
And you look at this game, for the Bills to win, it has to look like the New England Patriots game in this sense. James Cook played absolutely out of his mind. The vision, the contact balance. Joe Brady consistently sticking with the run, but then it was some of those above the playbook plays by Josh Allen that he was able to make to give these receivers opportunities to get open in second chance plays. And if he's able to do that, that's their best path to victory.
I just got to say something here because I looked at the Eagles injury report. A.J. Brown was on there this week because he needed to have his wisdom teeth taken out.
That's no joke.
Did you ever have your wisdom teeth taken out in season?
No, I would never do that. But if you do that, that means it was an emergency in order to do that. And so you do wonder what sort of position or situation
he's going to be feeling good.
Because Stephen A's not working because he ain't working till like 2027 because of that. Is A.J. Brown tougher than Stephen A. Smith?
That's the
That's
question.
what the headline's going to say on Monday morning.
Where the Eagles want to trade Stephen A. Smith for A.J. Brown.
And obviously, we know that this game doesn't really have major playoff implications. Right back into the NFL, we have a huge NFC matchup Sunday night with a lot on the line when Caleb Williams and the Bears head to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. Both teams are 11-4 this year. That has the Bears atop the NFC North currently, and the conference's 2 seed, while the Niners are second in the NFC West and in position as a wild card team. Both the Bears and 49ers are still in the hunt for the 1 seed, but it's very dependent on who wins this game. If the Bears win, their chances at the top seed go from 14% to 35%. If the 49ers win, their chances go from 32% to 52%. So, Kevin, knowing all of that, knowing all the numbers, who has more at stake on Sunday? Is it the Bears or is it the 49ers?
It's the Bears because they're still trying to prove themselves as a franchise, because they're trying to exercise 40 years of football trauma, and it's happening in real time, and we're seeing it, and we're seeing Caleb Williams make the leap and all of that stuff. But we also saw the energy of the Soldier Field crowd a couple weeks ago against Green Bay. We saw what that looked like. We saw them feed off that. We saw the mistakes Green Bay started to make in crunch time. By the way, they should never move indoors. They should never move to the suburbs. Keep that stadium right where it is. But we saw what that looks like. It's the Bears. They should win this game. I think they do.
RC, who you think?
I think you still have questions about the 49ers, and that's why I believe that this game is important. There's no way that you can erase out of your mind what Phillip Rivers had the ability to do in the first half of that game against Robert Saleh's defense, a defense that doesn't stop the run efficiently. They can't put pressure on the passer, and if you are going to win any games in the playoffs, you have to be able to do that in the NFC. Now, this is Kyle Shanahan's, in my opinion, this is his best coaching job of his career. He should have Coach of the Year considerations, but to be able to win this game, to then go win an NFC West game and be the number 1 overall seed is exactly what this team needs. Christian McCaffrey has put this team on his back the entire season. Brock Purdy's reemergence into the starting lineup after coming off of injury has bolted this offense into one of the best in the world, right? I was talking to Morstead this weekend, and he was like, I don't punt no more, right? He's like, I don't know. This man just kicked it to the net the entire game. If you can find ways to get stops on defense against the Chicago Bears and make the playoffs come through Santa Clara with a first-round bye, I believe that's their only chance to get to the NFC Championship. It's important for them to win this game.
We found another job Mike T could do. He could be the Niners punter.
Yeah.
They've not punted since November. That's an insane feat.
It is. And they're going to get Ricky Pearsall back, so their efficiency will actually continue to improve. So this is, to me, Coach of the Year type of work by Kyle Shanahan. And I do think if they get home field advantage and they only have to play 2 games and then play in the Super Bowl, be absolutely remarkable. And their offensive line, to me, is playing as good as any in the league. But their defense is a massive concern. As you mentioned, like if Phillip Rivers can avoid their rush, it bodes well for Caleb Williams. My other concern about the Bears and why I don't know if it's sustainable, they lead the league in turnover margin, and every week we say it, and it keeps happening, but at some point, does that run out?
That's one thing I've wanted to ask you about now for a while, because they do have 31 takeaways this season. That's the most in the NFL. To do that without a consistent pass rush, how rare is that?
No, it's rare. I mean, like Lovie Smith, Coach Dungy, those were guys that really emphasized the turnovers, and they were great at it for a decade. And you look at what Dennis Allen, they clearly emphasize, the peanut punch, rallying to the ball, tip passes. But yes, I agree, Courtney. Typically, it's edge pressure, tip balls, things like that. So they deserve a ton of credit. Kevin Byard, Nashawn Wright. But my gosh, I just don't know, can they run the table every week and come back from these improbable leads? I mean, Next Gen had it at a 99.5% chance that Green Bay was going to win the game with 2 minutes to go.
Yep.
I mean, it's improbable.
I think a big part of what's happening with the Chicago Bears is that they're exceeding expectations. Right? And when a team exceeds expectations, you're always waiting for the shoe to drop. You're waiting for the next thing to happen that proves to you what I thought about you at the beginning of the season is the correct thing to think about you. But when you talk about Nashawn Wright and Kevin Byard, let's remember Nashawn Wright is the guy who forced the fumble on Jalen Hurts on the tush push and allowed them to get that football, now drive the ball down the field and score. Nashawn Wright is also the same man who went in the deep red zone, stripped the football from Josh Jacobs, 2 people that don't normally fumble when running the football. That's a skill. That's not
He should
necessarily.
have been a Pro Bowler.
That's not happenstance. That's not coincidence. That's practice. That's preparation. That's execution. Kevin Byard has been one of the league's leader in turning the football over and interceptions his entire career. Who cares if it's year 12? And one thing about Caleb Williams, even over Brock Purdy, who he's facing this week, he's been his best when his team is behind late in games, 7-game winning drives. And so though it's one of those things, it's like, it shouldn't have happened this week, but it did. It shouldn't have happened this week, but it did. At some point, we have to develop some confidence in Ben Johnson and his team that they are finding ways to finish.
All right, let's pick this game because I know. So both Kevin and Mike T are saying that the Bears have more at stake. You're on the island with the 49ers. Mike T, who wins this game?
49ers, going with them as the home team. And again, I think they'll have such an emphasis on ball security. I just wish their pass rush was average. I feel even better about it, but I'm going with the 49ers.
I'm going with the Bears. I just think this offensive line in Chicago, I mean, that's the story of the season for me. Second most explosive runs in the league. Their offensive line, Caleb Williams' fatal flaw was that he held onto the ball too long last year, okay? That's still a flaw. He's holding onto the ball longer than he did last year. It doesn't matter because Ben Johnson is leaning on his escapability, and the offensive line is keeping him upright. This Bears team is for real. Give me the Bears.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bears as well. Monungai and DeAndre Swift. They've developed a Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery sort of duo in Chicago, the physicality in which they play. And now if you're Robert Saleh, you have to start to stack that box and play one-on-one on the outside. The play-action game of Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears can just be absolutely deadly. And I think they're going to play ball possession against this very explosive San Francisco 49ers offense.
Yeah.